Welcome to A New You with myself, Dr. Cristyn Watkins, where you're going to learn, laugh, and fall in love with becoming a new you. My goal with this podcast is to help you look great and feel great by bringing you simple, tangible techniques, world-class advice from experts, and proof from real-life patients. Enjoy the pursuit of a new you. Hi, this is Dr. Cristyn Watkins of A New Aesthetics and Optimal Wellness. Thank you so much for joining my podcast today. Today, I'm going to have a very special guest on who's been my patient for several years, and we're going to talk about functional medicine and all of the ways that can benefit. So some of the big things are cellular repair to give us some energy, also vitality, which I think is one of the most important things, and how we can give ourselves some self-care with wellness that also helps beauty, inner and outer, of course. So join me as I welcome my first guest today. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to bring in my guest, Jennifer Justus, today, so we can talk about functional medicine and all the advanced therapies that we have. How are you, Jennifer?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad you came. I know you did a little talk for me in the middle of COVID a while ago, trying to share with patients about what we do and kind of your experience with what we've done. So just tell me a little bit about yourself to start, because you have all kinds of facets that are interesting about you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So my latest facet that is the most jaw-dropping is cowboy mounted shooting.
Oh, nice.
So I shoot from the back of a horse. If I wasn't well, obviously I couldn't do that. So thank you for helping me get well to be able to ride horses and shoot guns. It's really fun. I own a real estate company and own lots of investment property. Just a fun, energetic, loving chick who has a 9-year-old daughter in the Smithville School District. So that keeps me busy, and my nephew and fishing. And then my wonderful husband is a police officer. So a little bit high stress in this day and age, but just kind of a little nutshell glimpse.
I know you're interesting because we do a lot of the same things. We just have a lot of things that we do. There's no one little thing to describe us, and you're very entrepreneurial as well, which I think is something that ties us together.
Yeah, so that's one thing. It's so funny to me. I've never really had a steady paycheck per se, because even when I was younger, I was a waitress. So when you wait tables, you don't get that steady paycheck. Right. You depend on your tips. And then I went right into selling and right into real estate when I was 18, put myself through college. And so it was always a commission check, not necessarily a paycheck.
Right. So you've depended, just like I have, kind of on your hustle your whole life.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. The hustle.
The hustle.
The hustle,
which you're a good hustler. So
thank you.
Okay, so today, as you know, we're talking about functional medicine. So I just want you to share your experience with some of the things that you've done here at A New. So what brought you to A New in the first place?
Well, Dr. Michelle Affolter is an amazing chiropractor and also an amazing friend of mine. I've known her for almost 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And I'd had a lot of health troubles, been through a lot of Western medicine, some Remicade, some different things like that for Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, all those things, to the point that I was needing a blood transfusion. And Michelle had given me your packet. And obviously, when you get to the point of no return and you're tired of the Western medicine and you're tired of all the side effects, you're willing to try almost anything. And so the packet, I called, and it was 2017, and we met in the urgent room across the street, and we spent 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. We spent a long time together figuring out like my whole life and my whole history and what might be causing this and
where we were going to go.
Yeah, where we were going to go. But Dr. Michelle Affolter gets all the credit for the referral and, the healthy style of medicine that you do.
That's interesting. I was kind of a newbie in functional medicine at the time, and I had sent a couple packets to a few people that I trusted out in the community that had great reputations. And that's how you're still sitting here today. That's awesome.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so as you started with functional medicine at the time, I want you to explain to people kind of what are some of the treatments and things that you've done at A New that have made a change in your life?
Well, after we did the testing, I was really able to see where I was deficient, what I was more allergic to or what I might be more sensitive to, and make sure that I was not messing with that. And alcohol is one for me that breaks down into sugar. I'm one of the people that is highly allergic to sugar, and I loved a good glass of wine. And so for me, that just wasn't an option anymore, especially with the level of sickness that I had. So I know a lot of people can get away with it and maybe cheat on that. That was something that I found out through the testing that you provided, that it was like, okay, this is no longer doesn't not only make me feel bad the next day, but really for a lot of reasons.
Right.
And seeing that sometimes in black and white really helps you process it and really helps you go, okay, no more. So once we got to all of that testing and figured that out, we were able to adjust the supplements, which I'm still a huge supplement advocate in making sure those deficiencies, and yearly we go through my stuff and just make sure if my body has changed, because our bodies do change
every day.
So, hey, what are we deficient in? Where do we need to tweak this? I love, love, love IVs. Executive stress is my favorite, which is your brain booster.
Yep. And that's the one that I formulated specifically for me and people like me.
All of us, quote unquote, autoimmune, whatever you want to call us, people. Yeah, whatever
stress.
You want to call us. So that to me is the best. It does take a little bit longer, but I'm a stacker. So I like to do the infrared sauna. And then I like to get my executive stress IV. And heck, if I have time, I like to get the PRP or PRF, whatever it's called
while
there.
you're in here.
Because I'm so hydrated right after I get my lovely IV that this is going to give me the most bang for my buck. And I make it like a mini spa day for myself, right? Like I'm doing all the things.
I wish everybody did that, where they would come get an IV, get a hydrofacial at the same time, just do that self-care and put it all together, because we don't have time, right?
Right.
So if we make time and you come in, stack. It's a great way to explain it. Stack your services.
No extra travel time, right? I'm combining that 30 minutes it took me to prepare myself to get here and all of the things. But for me, staying hydrated, obviously we're not very good about that here in America.
Especially with the masks lately.
Yeah, and we don't drink enough water, right? So just pumping that hydration, pumping that IV, it's really just going to refuel you.
Right.
And part of that's mental because you know you're doing it. And then a lot of it's physical because you feel all of the goodness and you're just sharper, you're hydrated, you are refreshed, and then you're ready to just conquer the world as our entrepreneurial spirit does.
I agree with you. And the executive stress, the way I designed it, has really high dose vitamin C to boost that immune system, zinc, selenium, which we're so deficient in here in America, all the B vitamins, especially methylated cobalamin, which we're very deficient in. There's this thing, MTHFR. I won't get too crazy. I won't talk about it. But a lot of us with autoimmune and inflammation have a problem with methylation. So we go ahead and bypass that and give you the methylated B12. It has all the nutrients that our cells need. And, I try not to make this too medical, but you're very good at this and you understand that we're just cells, right? We're just cells that make up other cells, that make up organs, that have functions. We're only as good as our cells are. That's it. So if we're feeding our cells toxins, for you, that's alcohol and sugar. Same for me. For you, that's also gluten and dairy, some other things that are just inflammatory for you. And then we add stress onto that. We add genetically modified things and more toxins, right? Mm-hmm. Then we just become toxic. Our cells become toxic and we feel that. And we kind of feel this all the time.
Yeah, you're like a big slump and a big blob and a big, ogre. Yeah. Right. And you don't want to feel like that. So you got to recharge your body.
Absolutely. And when we give ourselves and our body those nutrients intravenously, we absorb 100%. Nothing else can we absorb at 100%. So I love to do IVs, but I'm just not feeling that great. I shouldn't wait that long. I know.
I tell her, don't worry.
I know. Pre-travel, after travel, if I feel like I'm coming down with something. But for people like me, it really should be preventative once a week. I'm getting better at it because I'm listening to my patients because I listen to them and they listen to me. So, and actually she's the reason I did it before I went to Hawaii this last time because she was kind of run down. She's like, you better get that IV.
I was like, no, girl, no, it's not negotiable. It's not negotiable.
I listened and I'm glad I did. So when we give our body those things, we can then focus on other things in our life because we're not as stressed, we're not as anxious, we're not as tired, we're sleeping better, all of those things. So there's two ways to look at cells, right? You have to take out this bad stuff, meaning don't put it in here, okay? But you also have to replenish and give it the good stuff, which also means in here. But for those of us that really have other deficiencies, it's also intravenous or IM because we can absorb more. And if you have gut issues like you, with absorption issues, this is a great way for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis patients or anybody with autoimmune really to get the nutrients in.
Absolutely.
Which is why you probably feel great when you do it.
Yes. And you mentioned sleep. So when I came to you 4-ish years ago, my sleep was garbage. Mm-hmm. And I woke up constantly during the night. I can't tell you how many hours I was actually getting. Definitely probably wasn't restful sleep.
Nope.
And anyone that knows me, they think I don't sleep because they think about me. Yeah. So we're so efficient. And actually I sleep a solid 7 to 8 hours every night, like clockwork, because of all of the other things.
Right.
And so it just fell into place then. And that's probably one of the reasons I've been able to stay well, in addition to, because it's one of the pillars of functional medicine.
That's right. People always say, just like you, they're like, but you don't sleep. I'm like, no. I sleep wonderfully for those 7 to 8 hours. And then I'm Mach 10 the rest of the time.
That's right.
But if you can get that sleep, which you're right, the 4 pillars, right? Sleep, stress, nutrition, and physical activity, or body in motion. I don't use the word exercise because that means something different to everybody.
I use yoga. So yoga is and that was also, I was already a fan of yoga when I came to you, but you're like, this is not negotiable for you. And I got myself into a good routine, and I've kept that routine now for many years. And they keep hitting on breath in so many different areas,
and meditation, and
for anxiety, for all the things. And so if we can harness that as part of our functional medicine strategy for ourselves and our wellness, it's a big piece.
And it's crazy that you mentioned breath, because it has to do also with toxins, because the 4 ways we get rid of toxins are skin, so sweat, bowel, urine, and breath. So it has so many capabilities with mindfulness, just bringing awareness, calming us with anxiety, but it also gets rid of toxins. If you're actually using below your diaphragm to breathe, because most of us breathe about 1/3 of our lungs, that's all we use. But if we can actually get it down here and use our breath, it completely changes the mind and the chemistry. How crazy that your breath changes your chemistry of your brain.
And I can't think about breath and oxygen without talking about ozone.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about
And I'm an ozone fan too, so that's another type of IV treatment, and I'll let her give you all the technical jargon on it, but it makes your blood beautiful. That's one of my favorite parts about ozone, is you see your blood turn bright red, and it's this enriched life coming back into you that is just, it's beautiful, it's oxygenated, it's a virus killer, it's all the things that you can tell them about.
And for me, the reason I know ozone works, and you could speak to this, it's the 24 hours after I get ozone is the best I feel. Everybody's a little bit different. Sometimes at the beginning, you go through a little bit of a slump because your body's trying to detox and get rid of whatever those toxins are. But now that I'm through that slump, ozone, when I'm having a downtime, that's what makes me feel amazing, because it's literally O3. We take oxygen from an oxygen tank, we run it through an ozonator, an ozonate, we get O3, and then we draw your blood. Quite a bit of blood. We take a liter bag, we get rid of half of that normal saline, we put your blood in, and then we put the ozone in at a certain gamma. And gamma is what we use to kind of gauge the amount of ozone depending on the patient and their condition. And that takes that blood from like that dark color to that bright cherry red. And you feel it when it goes in. It is astounding. We make ozone, but as we age and we get oxidative stress, free radical damage, basically aging, we don't make as much ozone. Those of us that have mitochondrial problems and have inflammation make less. So we feel worse than everybody else. So if you can actually give that back, you're going to feel better. Your muscles are going to be more oxygenated. Your brain, that's what I always notice, is just my clarity. Your brain will be more oxygenated. And at certain gamma, it can reduce bacteria, viruses, Lyme, mold, which is a big thing that I use it for in the practice and for me. And it's been around for over 100 years, which is amazing.
So the other treatment I love to get that has also been around forever, and I didn't realize this until I did a little bit of Google search, right?
Dr. Google.
Yeah, which is not super reliable, and I know I could always ask you, but I was like just curious because somebody said this has been around forever, but NAD.
I know.
And all of these, so what I notice after NAD is my vision is like so sharp. It's so amazing. And I'm not going to lie, that treatment was a little wonky at first. And I think for all of them, it's important to note that you may feel that dumb, but the more you get it, you don't feel that anymore. Right. So that initial time, may be a little rough, but this is
NAD,
like
the first time was tough.
Yeah, you get going on all of them, and then it's just like you're getting rid of all that junk.
Right.
So it's like it's always darkest before the beautiful bright light.
Like the lotus.
Yes, like the lotus. So it is exactly how it is with your body and the functional medicine treatment. So
I know some people say, I'm not sure I felt that one IV. I'm like, you might not feel one IV. You might be so depleted that you really need to get multiple treatments because you're so far behind the 8 ball, because so many of us are, whether it be NAD that we're supposed to make, but we're not. So we don't have that brain neurodegeneration like we're supposed to. And we use NAD for MS and Parkinson's and all kinds of things because we make NAD, but over time we don't anymore. So concussions, whatever it may be, or those of us that just want a sharper,
anti-aging.
That's right.
Right?
Yep. Okay. Question for you. How has all of this that you've been doing, because you are very compliant and you do a lot of things here at Anew, how has it changed your life, your social life or your personal life at home or your work life? How has it changed you as a person to do these therapies?
I think I could be more present. And when you say I'm compliant, you're sweet, because if I was being compliant, I would be doing it once a week. And when I was really sick, that was easy to do.
Right. You're motivated to.
You are motivated to do it. But the further you get from that, the less compliant I feel like we get. And I'll go through spurts where I'm like, I know I have to get myself back to that level
it's
again.
When you go like this.
Yeah, you start feeling not as great and you're like, okay, but I know how to fix this. And so you just get yourself back on that track. And I would be doing, the sauna once a week, and I would be doing the executive stress once a week. I try and discipline myself to do it at least every other week.
Right.
And when I get past that, I'm like, okay, 3 weeks. And then if I'm really, really busy,
don't beat yourself up.
I am like, I got to get back to this. But it helps me be present. I know it helps me with my sleep. I know it helps me be more energetic and, get me where I need to go, essentially, because managing and doing and investing and being a realtor in this crazy market and all of the things, and I manage a team and I have investment property and I have a 9-year-old and I have all this, and I'm in the political world trying to help make things better in that arena and doing things for the county. And so there's no way that I could have done that before. Yep. Because number one, I just couldn't. I was so exhausted and so tired, and mentally I wouldn't have had the capacity to do it. I mean, I was always driven and I was always able to push myself. And when I was sick, I would constantly hear my family doctor, David Wilson, is like, I have no idea how you're still able to function at the level that you're functioning. I mean, you don't have iron, you are anemic, you are needing a blood transfusion, and yet you're walking into my office when you should essentially be lying in a hospital bed. Mm-hmm. And I heard that pretty consistently. So I was really driven. But eventually what happened to me before we got together, I landed myself in the hospital for 30 days, and
that's terrifying.
C. diff, I got C. diff, and that was because my intestines just were able to absorb something nasty because they were all perforated and they were all bad. And so, when you go out to eat, that's a risk sometimes. Right. It's just things are on food that normal people can pass, that people with autoimmune issues or people that haven't taken care of their bodies, they can't.
Correct. Your immune system can't fight it.
So yeah, I was sick a lot more. I was down a lot more. I couldn't function at the level that I function now. It'd just be impossible. So I'm a better mom. I'm a better wife. I'm a better friend. I can just do things that I wouldn't be capable of doing otherwise.
Yep. I think that's important because a lot of times for those of us that feel like we do all these things, we want to be great at everything we do. And one thing that I notice in my sick patients and in myself is when we have those hard weeks, we become, our kids start to notice, Mom, you don't feel good. Oh, does your stomach hurt? Oh, does your back hurt? And you don't want to be that person.
Nope.
You in your mind, you're not that person. You're super strong. You're ambitious. You do all these things. And then you come home and you can only rest at home because you've spent all your energy somewhere else.
That's right.
And so you come home and you want to be a great mom and a great wife too, but you're drained. You're drained and you can't do it. So I think that's a big part too. How does it make me a better mom? People say, and I'm like, well, that's how. Because when I come home, when I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to do, and I've used all this energy at work, I still have the energy to give it home on evenings and weekends, which when I'm not doing what I need to be doing, that's not happening.
Yeah, I just kind of wither down a little bit and I'm not able to run to Silver Dollar City or go out on the boat and feel energetic because I need to be sleeping or resting, and I don't feel compelled to do that because honestly, you're not motivated when you feel like poo.
Nope, not at all.
So
I'm motivated to actually come and get my IVs.
Yeah, right? You know how to fix it. You know there's a better alternative than just running yourself ragged and not taking care of yourself, and you know better. So at least we know better.
Yeah. And so, when I counsel my patients, I'm also counseling myself. When I sit behind the desk and I talk to everyone, I'm like, I'm not just telling you this. I'm not sitting behind this desk being perfect at everything I'm telling you to do. When I counsel my patients, I'm also counseling and reminding myself, Cristyn, the things you're asking the patient about on the symptom checklist, you have today too. What are you doing for self-care? And what are you doing to take care of yourself? Because we really need to be asking ourselves that when we feel run down and we feel awful, what are we not doing for ourselves that's really important that we need to be doing? Because there's an answer.
Yeah, when you're that run down, you're not good for anybody else.
Right.
So, it's that cliche, like you got to take care of yourself. You got to love yourself before you love anybody else or before you can take care of anybody else. And it's so true. And we really have to honor ourselves and honor our you here, because if you don't, you're kind of crappy for everything else.
Yep. And you have to be present where you are in the moment. Otherwise, I know for so many entrepreneurial women and just busy women in general, even if you're an entrepreneur at home, right? Running your home, it's a job that I can't do, trust me. So if you're the entrepreneur of your home or of your business or wherever it is, if you don't fill your cup, you don't have anything to give from.
That's right.
Right. So you've got to really focus on that. And especially with everything that's been going on. And I think society has told us that we're selfish if we do that. I bring that up a lot. And I think just giving people an avenue and an understanding that it's okay and you should do that.
You have to.
You have to. Because in 20 years, you're not going to get this time back. So you've got to spend it where you feel your best, because we're just aging. We're aging. How do we at least back that up a little bit so that we can spend great time with our family and ourselves and our colleagues and our friends so that we feel energetic and vital? It's about vitality. We can live one way or we can live another way, and we get to make that choice.
Yep, absolutely.
So anything else you want to share with our audience, if you had to share something that we didn't talk about today about, Anu and the treatments, is there something you'd like to share with the audience that you'd want them to know that we didn't already talk about?
Do it now. Don't wait. I didn't know about it back when I was in my 20s.
Me neither.
And I think, especially today, you probably get the benefit of seeing some younger patients just because aesthetics is such a popular thing now. And if they open the door to not just the aesthetic part, but also taking care of themselves and their bodies, some of this aging stuff is going to take care of itself.
Correct.
I'm 40 years old and I don't think I look 40.
No,
At least I think I don't look 40.
No,
so, and a lot of that, I don't have to do a lot of aesthetic stuff. I do some fun stuff here and there, but I don't have to do it maybe to the level of some other people because I take care of all of the rest of my stuff. And I really try to take care of my body from the inside out. And I would just encourage people to do that and to explore and learn and check it out, because we are those cells, and we have to take care of ourselves to showcase and shine our best selves.
Yep. People ask me all the time, you do all the treatments. I'm like, I don't have time to sit in that chair and do treatments. And I actually feel better, and I feel like I look better than I did at 30. But it's not because I do all these aesthetic things. Yes, I do Botox. Okay. Yes. I get a facial twice a year. I'm not kidding. But I use great skincare. But it's about what I'm actually doing on the inside now, because skin's our biggest organ. It just happens to be the organ on the outside.
Okay. I just thought of something. Okay. TNS.
Oh, I know.
That's a game changer too. Growth factor. If you're a big skin, and it goes to growth factor, which is the functional medicine component of taking care of your skin, right? So I didn't always use that product, and you one day you not? No, and it was on your Instagram. It was on your Instagram, and it was showcase what you have in your little caddy, right, for a giveaway kind of a thing. And so I'm showcasing my caddy, my little, and it's teal like the wall actually, or the color. It may not be exactly teal. Yeah, it's funny enough. And so I'm showcasing it, and you're like, "Where's your vitamin C? And where's this?" And that's in the TNS. And I came in, and I was like, "Okay, well, I need to get this in." You're like, "That's in TNS." That is such a game changer for my skin personally and how I feel. And it's worth every single penny. And people don't think it lasts very long, but it lasts months.
Right.
So that investment is not a 30-day investment. It's going to last you longer than that. But for skin and stem cells, it is a game changer. Like you will.
I'm 42.
You will thank me and you will thank her. Yeah. I'm just 42 really
and I've been using it for 7 years. And until I make my new product that has more growth factors and mesenchymal stem cells and all these other things, it's what I will use until then, because it has everything in it that we need. But it is all about functional medicine, because it's about cell turnover, cell growth, collagen replacement, all of those things that we're trying to get when we do IV or ozone or all these other mesenchymal stem cells. So for me to put that on my skin, it makes it's a daily difference, right? So it's like you don't take your car and get the oil changed only. You also have to put gas in it, right? You have to maintain it every single day. So if you just come and get treatments, but you don't do something daily, you're really not protecting that investment, and you're also still aging. I want my skin to not age, right? I will do anything it takes. And I don't do a lot of procedures like you don't. I treat the inside and I do really, really great skincare. I think that's the most important. And Botox. Okay, if I had to pick 3 things, do internal, do good skincare, do Botox.
I don't even have to do that very often. I started out having to do it a lot, every 6 weeks-ish. And maybe I get it twice a year now. Maybe I don't have to continue to do that because I'm trying to take care of everything else. And the skincare, like I said, I think it's a TNS. I really do. And I know you have the less expensive one. That's the new brand.
I'm still a TNS girl.
Still using the TNS, but just in case it's a budgetary issue. I mean, I know you offer a different option, and then you're coming up with this. Her brain just like, I can't make formulas like that in my brain. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, I can negotiate contracts and do all that stuff,
which I need
very
to.
well, but I can't put together those formulas. So I know that.
Nerd. It's okay.
It's awesome. It's amazing.
I like it. I like being nerdy and thinking about science. My husband jokes at me. We were just in Yellowstone. I'm sure if you follow on social media, and the thermophiles there, I was nerding out. I mean, I stood there for like an hour watching this geyser and the thermophiles, and he was like, all right, we are so done. The kids are so done. Get in the car. What are you doing? And I was like, did you see these did you see this bacteria? It's like making these colors. He was like, okay, we're all over
It's awesome,
that.
Though.
Okay, cool. Can you get in the car? I was like, oh, this is anyway, I am a science nerd in every way.
Yeah.
It has served me well.
I think it's beautiful. I don't know anything about whatever she just said, but Yellowstone is really beautiful.
It's bacteria that make all those colors.
I didn't know that.
I know, it's made out of bacteria. Okay, so I digress. So I'm going to put you on the spot. And I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and you've kind of already answered one, so give me a different answer. It's called the Anew 2. So we're going to ask you 2 things. What is your favorite treatment you've ever had at Anew? Treatment, service, whatever it may be. You already said TNS, so you got to pick something else.
Ooh, favorite?
I know, it's hard.
It's probably my executive stress IVs because those recharge me. They're doing the inside out aging. I'm getting back my hydration, and it's just putting me at that top level again. If I could do them every week, if I had the time, that would probably be what I'm taking time out of my schedule, or if I could take them home and do them to myself. Which I'm not a nurse and I'm not a medical person, so that's a little outside of the box, but it's like, I'll do anything, honestly. I'm kind of crazy like that. So no, that's probably my favorite because it encompasses the best. If you want face treatments, though, PRP for my eyes has been a game changer. It's way better than filler. It's your natural stuff. It's regenerative. It's going to not have to be done as much because I started doing it and my body is now going to produce on its own. So Correct. That was 2. Sorry.
That's okay. I like 2. I'll take 2. I'll take 20. Okay. And what treatment have you not had at Anew that you want to have? Is there anything?
Yeah, well, there is. So like the cool sculpting and what's the other one?
Cool tone.
Cool tone. I'm a cool tone. I've been told that cool sculpting is probably not for my physique specifically because there's different, I don't know all the ins and outs of all the scientific stuff on that. But my booty, or there's the butt lift now with with
PRP and Sculptra.
So
have all the things.
But I always feel guilty because while I do work hard, it's like if I would just work out or I would just eat a little better or if I would just do my squats, like that's how my mind works, like efficiency, like I need to do this on my own, not,
but as we get to be in our 40s, even if we do work out, there's certain things that we can't get to lift and tighten just quite like they used to. And the booty's one.
Yeah. So those are a couple that if I'm being super selfish, I would, and I had more time. That's also my big issue is time. That. So if I'm picking, I have to pick my body and my wellness before I start tweaking other things that I'm being maybe overly picky about or I feel like I'm being self-conscious about. So the time is the issue for me more than anything. But those are a couple that I'm like, yeah, I would love to just have my butt look perfect.
And that's cool. I mean, cool tone definitely tightens and tones. And I buy all these machines because I want them and I want to try them because I know I'm a good consumer and I know what most of my patients want. And then I get it and I try it once because I have to try everything before it rolls out to you all. And then I'm like, well, that was 2 years ago. I had that one cool tone. So that's awesome. One day I'll change my ways.
I'm sure.
I will change my ways.
But yeah, it's just a time issue a lot of times.
That's all it is for me. It's time. So wellness is always going to come first for me. So
that's where I'm at too. So that's why.
And with us doing so many services and options, sometimes you really have to go, all right, I've got 2 hours. What is it that I'm going to do? Which is why you're great about doing like an IV with something else. So
Yep, I bundle. And I did a Halo earlier this year. That was on my list.
Game changer.
And that also just,
Game changer.
We
get a lot of compliments about Halo on the podcast even.
Yeah, so that was another one that I had not done. And I had been coming here for several years. And everybody's like, you would love that. You would love that. And so at your November event, I broke down and spent the money on the Halo. And then a few months later, while I was still out of the sun, because I'm a big sun, I'm a lake girl. So had to do it while I was still out of the sun and got that. And I was like, and I'm not a big foundation concealer person.
Skin.
Under eye stuff is, that's another thing it's done for me. So I don't have to spend a lot of money on foundations or any of that stuff because luckily my skin is producing what it needs to produce and it's doing the things, because I take care of it. So
and you do some of those things, which, we don't put a lot of stock in all the time. Like I don't do things all the time, but you do with your PRP, your IVs, your TNS. You're doing a lot more daily care than a lot of people do. Right. Yep. So you're putting gas in the car every day, which is super important.
Yep. You have to refuel.
You do.
You just have to refuel. And that's food is fuel for me. A lot of people eat a lot of different things and I'm very regimented. There are a lot of things I don't eat. And they're like, oh, how can you eat anything if you don't eat gluten, grains, and dairy? And I'll fudge a little bit on the grains with like some rice or some corn. Those are both grains that I'll fudge on. But they're like, how do you eat? And I will be the one that goes in the restaurant and knows exactly how to order it. I'm ready in 5 minutes. And it's like, wow. And the other thing is I can eat a lot of food.
Me too. So
I can eat a lot of food because I choose to eat the right things, have the right proteins and the vegetables and all the things, and they're all delicious. I'm a big seafood lover. That's one thing I learned also from the test is that that's what I process really easily. For some people, it might be pork, beef, or chicken, but for me, it's seafood, which works out perfectly because I love scallops, I love shrimp, I love lobster. So I can go in and get the 2-pound lobster, and it's not a problem.
Yep.
So
and you can eat it with veggies and be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can eat lots of things.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard for people to know when they start how to eat those things, right? How to not eat gluten, how to not eat dairy. But once you feel the difference, if those inflame you and you feel what it's like to not be at code red anymore and to be at like the green, yellow level, there's a huge difference. And, one of the easiest ways to do that is to actually do a test and pinpoint, because elimination diets are hard. But if you actually can do a test to pinpoint your exact food sensitivities to you specifically as a human, your gut, your blood, your everything, that makes a big difference. Then you don't have to spend all this time guessing. You can just eliminate. Within 30 days, you feel different.
And I always ate different. It was funny because I always ate pistachios. And I'm sensitive to those, but I thought, it's a nut, right? So it's healthy and I can eat this. And turns out, and I accidentally, not even that long ago, grabbed a bag of Quick Trip, kind of had escaped from my mind, and I ate them. And then I was pretty sick after, unfortunately. And I was like, oh, bless it. Why did I eat those pistachios? I'm allergic to them.
They weren't that good for that.
Yeah. But anyway, so I learned a lot from that food sensitivity testing.
Yeah. And sometimes I cheat and I'm reminded very soon why I shouldn't do that. Why should I have 3 bites of my kids' delicious ice cream? Dang it.
They have delicious coconut ice cream now too.
So. I know. Thank the Lord. But it's not always convenient for me. And I'm
that's it.
Don't do it. Just don't do it. Okay. And especially summer.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming. You actually, as a patient, have taught me a lot. You've sent me patients. You've sent me other people. You always push me to be better at my game, and I just really appreciate and respect you very much. So I'm just grateful that you came on today to spend time with me.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
So sweet. Yeah, I love you.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining and listening to A New You. Please subscribe, rate, and review. And if you have any requests for my next episode or want to learn more, visit anewaesthetics.com/podcast.